Okay, cool. And we're live on YouTube. Don't worry.
Let's go. Highlight of the day.
Yeah.
So what do you think, Jim? I mean, is it glass half full? Is it glass half empty? Like, how are you going to remember 2022?
Well, it's still hard. I mean, you're still in the thick of like the grieving stage of what happened yesterday. I feel like still we're going to have to at least wait another couple of weeks here before you can probably fully grasp this season. Because right now I'm still in the mode of like the what ifs, right? And the what ifs will always be there. But it's hard to like just kind of shut that off and be like, well, this was great because of this and this and this. It's like, well, it sucks because of this and this and this right now. But if you were to ask me how would I view this season, it's obviously a major success. We talked about, I think the first thing we talked about in spring training, that this year was a like make or break year for a Preller. That they had to make the postseason at any like no matter what, they had to make the postseason. And not only did they make the postseason, they made the NLCS. So yeah, it's a disappointment that they didn't win a World Series. Absolutely, because you got so freaking close to getting to a World Series. But absolutely, it's a success because of what you did in the postseason, beating the Mets and beating the Dodgers to get to an NLCS. Yeah, absolutely, it was a success, no doubt about it.
Yeah, no, I agree with everything you said. I think that's the way you have to look at it. It's like things aren't always black and white. By the way, join the queue. How will you remember the 2022 season? Is it going to be beating the Dodgers? Is it going to be the trade deadline getting Juan Soto for the next couple of years? Is it going to be these what could have been moments in Games 4 and Game 5 against the Phillies with Bob Melvin, leaving Josh Hader in the bullpen for the final 3 games of the season after striking out a Major League record 8 consecutive batters in the postseason? Is it Fernando Tatis Jr. from the motorcycle to the PED suspension? Like, what's your big takeaway with 2022? Click the join the queue button. We're live on Weight Room and also on YouTube. Like you said, I feel like there's probably 3.5 months to look ahead and to memorialize 2022 in the moment. We're still less than 24 hours from when this game ended.
Yeah,
and
it's
the way
tough,
this game ended was with Josh Hader in the bullpen. And Robert Suarez, who had a hell of a year. We said this last night on the wrap-up show. Take nothing away from Robert Suarez. It's not Robert Suarez's fault what happened. Bryce Harper is just completely locked in. It could have happened with Josh Hader as well. I don't even know if it's the most egregious part of the weekend, Jim. Right. Is it Mania pitching the 5th inning with a 6-4 lead, or Josh Hader never getting an opportunity in Game 3 or Game 4 or Game 5 with your season on the line? And there were other Grisham. Yeah, there were other things as well. And I don't know if you saw some of that stuff on Twitter today. One of the things that really kills your chance at a rally historically is bunting with 1 out and runners at first and second. Yeah, like you really lessen your chance of scoring a run when you do that. Right. And they did that with their season on the line with 1 out remaining in their season.
It's agreed.
Which is just
unbelievable. It was bad. It was very bad. And I saw a lot of, and look, I see people on social media like, well, if Hader went in and gave up the home run, everyone would have been questioning that move. I don't buy that notion because I think everybody would have been like, all right, you have Josh Hader in the moment that you got him for. If he gets up a home run, I'm not going to be like, well, they should have kept Suarez in. Like I don't buy that notion one bit at all. That's just fan speak, and that's just a little bit of like, I mean, I don't know what, but I don't buy that at all. At least for us, I know me and you, we would have not said that. That would have been the complete opposite. You might have seen like 1 or 2 fans go that route. Mm-hmm. But overall, I think a majority of the people, if Josh Hader was in that situation in the 8th inning versus Bryce Harper, and Bryce Harper still had a 2-run home run off him, I don't think the thing that fans would be saying would be, why wasn't Robert Suarez in instead of Josh Hader? You know what I'm saying?
Acquire Josh Hader for this moment. He had struck out 8 consecutive batters in the postseason.
I don't understand that. That's not
a manager's job. A manager's job is to move his chips. And like, that's the best chip you have, or the best card in the deck. If it doesn't work out, we always say this. It's like, if you could get your closer with a lead and then you lose the lead, so be it. Tip your cap to the other team. Now, this is a little unconventional to have to go to him potentially for 6 outs, but your season is literally on the line. And this idea of
unconventional, man.
This idea of, well, you know what? This was an unfinished roster, and they're going to have Tatis in 2023, and they'll do this, that, and the other, and they'll be back. What do you mean they'll be back? How many opportunities does a team get to play their way into a World Series. I mean, for the Padres, it's not often. It's been 24 years. So, like, you had an opportunity. Now we got to wait a whole nother year to see if that opportunity even exists again. Are you going to have a 6-4 lead in Game 4 of the NLCS next year, trailing 2-1? Are you going to have a 3-2 lead in the 8th inning next year in Game 5, trailing 3-1? We have no idea if they'll put themselves in that position next year or not.
Yeah, it just, like, I don't understand it. And I'm talking about people saying that it was fine that Robert Suarez was in there. Maybe if he got out of it, then yeah, of course it's fine. But that was not the move. The move was Josh Hader. So, and
that was the move. That was the move. Suarez had an amazing year. Didn't allow a home run to a lefty all year until Harper. Harper's on fire right now.
Dude,
but
the first line in Dennis Lin's article today was the Padres acquired Josh Hader earlier this season for a moment like last night, and he never touched the baseball. That's not me saying that. That's Dennis Lin.
Well, it is us saying it. You know,
I know, but I'm saying, like, people think we're idiots for saying that. That's fine, but go to the credible news reporters that you all love. They're saying the same thing. So
go to the queue. Let's get to the queue, guys.
It's funny how we started this with, like, what's your favorite moment, to, like, fucking Josh Hader didn't pitch in the 8th inning.
Well, I mean, it's hard. It's so raw. I mean, it hasn't even been 24 hours. Like, this is a memorable year that has a bitter taste feeling into the offseason. What could have been. We'll never know, Jim, if Hader comes on the mound. They might be getting ready. We might be in the gas lamp right now, preparing for Game 6. We'll never know what would have happened if Josh Hader came on it in the 8th inning. They might be playing right now. Well, not really, but in 5 hours.
Really. All right, here we go. Ready?
Andrew, what's up, man? Lead us off, dude.
So, I just want to say this. I know we're talking about Game 5, but Game 4 is like, I feel like if Clevenger didn't sit to bed, you Clevenger pitched 4 innings because we had Clevenger, the Martinez, and then Hader, Garcia, Suarez, and then Hader. So, and then, like, because that was, I'm more pissed off at Clevenger for sitting in bed after having a 4-1 first. Like, because, like, I was that, but, like, we gotta look at Clevenger too. And I agree that we should have bought in Hader last night too. It's just like, yes, he might have given up a home run to Harper, and, like, he still might have lost a game, but who knows?
Yeah,
who knows what will happen?
Right, and that's exactly what this offseason will be like, is a bunch of what ifs and who knows what would have happened, and it's going to be like this until the Padres get back to this point, which could be a while, could be next year, who knows? But unfortunately, as Andrew just said there, it is exactly the sentiment and the questions, and what you'll be saying about this season is the who knows and the what ifs, and that fucking sucks.
That's and Andrew, I'm with you. Game 4 is just as bad. I mean, thanks, Andrew. I mean, we're going to talk about Game 5 forever because it's the Harper moment. It's Hader.
Game 4 might have been worse.
It's the final game. Yeah, game 4 was really bad. Now, there's so many twists and turns that could happen. It's the bottom of the 5th inning.
It's
the halfway
15
point
outs.
of the game.
But you didn't give yourself a base chance.
But you had a 4-run lead in Game 4 and a 2-run lead in Game 4. You had two multiple run leads. 4-0 is a substantial lead. We tweeted about it. I mean, in the history of postseason baseball, a team that scores 4 in the top of the first inning wins 90% of the time, 95% of the time, and that didn't happen. And they lost by 4 runs because they treated it like an exhibition with Sean Manaea and Mike Clevenger trying to quote unquote steal outs.
Well, yeah, that was where the whole problem started, is that you had put Sean Manaea and Mike Clevenger on this postseason roster. Like the whole thing about having them on the roster, having players on the roster is, okay, well, if you're going to be on the roster, then you got to help you. And they weren't ready. Like, they didn't pitch. I mean, you saw what Clevenger did in the last series versus the Dodgers. Do you really think that he was going to help you versus the Philadelphia Phillies?
Not really.
Like,
I mean, do I think he would have gotten an out? Yes. I mean, he was that bad.
It was that fucking bad. So the whole the thing was doomed from, I feel like, the start that you were going to put Clevenger on the mound versus Philly in Game 4 and Sean Manaea on the mound in Game 4. You need,
As opposed to doing the Luis Garcia to Tim Hill.
to
You know,
Pierce
you could have used
Johnson, to
you could have
Suarez,
stretched your bullpen a little bit. You
to
would have needed
Martinez, Hader.
you would have needed either Clevenger or Manaea in the game. It would have been hard to go 9 innings with neither of them appearing in the game.
Right.
That would have been hard.
And guess
Like,
what?
how would you have done that?
Guess what? If you did say, like, when Jace Tingler and the bullpen day versus the Cardinals in Game 3 in 2020, that was pretty bad. Like, that was an amazing performance by the bullpen. If now, who knows, they could have lost, right? But if that was the route that the Padres took in Game 4, where it was life or death every inning with your bullpen, and you mixed and matched, and who cares if you used every single reliever, right? And you won that game, you're now tied 2-2 with a guaranteed trip back home for Game 6 no matter what. And who knows what happens in Game 5 if it's 2-2, right? And maybe the same thing happens. Maybe Harper, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you treated Game 4 like you were waiting to use your guys for Game 6 and 7 because you had no off days. Instead, you lost in Game 5 and you never saw Game 6 and 7.
The one thing I was saying, I completely agree with you. Completely agree. I think we'd have to literally look at the bullpen, Jim, and you'd have to say, is it even possible to go through 9 innings without using Mike Clevenger or Sean Manaea? You had 3 starters plus those 2. That's 5 of your 13. You have 8 other pitchers or 7 other pitchers. I'd have to look at the roster.
I think you could do that.
And you would just throw Nick Martinez. No, Nick Martinez in 3 innings in that game. You probably could have started Nick Martinez and gotten 3 innings out of him and done it. If it was perfect, you would have had to been close to perfect. You couldn't have a hiccup where someone couldn't get out of an inning.
Right. But the thing is, you scored 6 runs. You scored 6 runs. You gave your bullpen obviously 5. The bullpen can give up 5 runs. And if you take out Clevenger and you take out Clevenger and Manaea, I'm with the way that the bullpen has pitched this postseason, minus those 2, minus Manaea, Clevenger, and Adrian Morejon, they've been lights out. So if you're telling me that the bullpen, which has been lights out, is going to give up 6 runs, like, okay, but I think that's the best chance that you could have had.
It is. I agree. I do. Let's get back to the queue.
All right.
What's up, Pedro?
Hey,
what's up, man? How you doing, man?
Hey, just kind of. Hopefully, you guys take a little mental break. That way, you guys can reset. It's been that kind of. You guys have been at it 2.5 years straight. Just like salute you guys for doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, since Jim's like dying over there.
I know.
Jim started the pandemic.
I know, it's crazy.
But
you've been you've been coughing for like a week straight.
I have like a thing like I'm fine.
Sure. Have you been tested? Thanks. I look forward to sitting with you for 4 hours today.
Yeah, I can't wait.
He's the new variant.
Yeah, COVID Russell.
But I guess the season is kind of like it felt like we were in playoff mode from the get-go. It's well documented. We had 5 wins. We never got in that stretch where we won 5, lost 5. It was always like we were like fighting to survive, fighting for Tatis to get here. And then once we found that news, it was like we were always in that like hustle and bustle. Like if Manny was out for the year, and then I felt during playoff time that kind of helped us, that kind of stress. But maybe the wires got fried. I don't know.
I mean, who knows? I mean, it's one of those things where it's like you needed everything to go right in the absence of Tatis. You had 3 starters, but you got through the Mets. Yeah, I was going to say you got through the Mets and the Dodgers, so you kind of did. What's up? Hello?
What's up, guys? Honestly, I think the biggest memorable moment of the 2022 season was probably the diversity that this team went through, coming from the 2021 season, especially the firing of Tingler, the, rebuilding of a new manager, and, obviously new pitching coach and stuff like that. And then on top of that, heading Luke Voigt and having those clubhouse problems with Hosmer, trying to trade him away. Overall, I think the season, a lot of people didn't expect much of us, as you'd say, because of the struggle
when acquiring Soto and all those other players, that National Series and then that series against Arizona. I know a lot of people were afraid that it was going to be a 2021 collapse again, but I'm honestly happy where the Padres ended up. Who knows? This might be something bright for the future to come, but who knows? I mean, a lot of, like you guys say, what ifs could have happened. Maybe better manager decisions could have been made.
Oh, thanks. Hello.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. I think someone might be knocking on my door.
Was it like a bird? Seriously? Oh my goodness. What is happening? Of course someone's knocking on John's door in the middle of this.
I'll be right back.
What happened? Okay. All right, I'm just going to bring on Rich.
Yeah, thanks, John, for bailing on me,
I know, seriously.
Whatever. He doesn't care.
He doesn't care.
What's more important, but yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I woke up this morning congested. I got what you got. I thought it was Frankie V, but maybe you got me sick, so who knows? But negative COVID test.
There we go.
Oh, he's got his tofu, buffalo tofu snacks, and he's good to go. So I'm glad I went last night. That was kind of a highlight, I was bummed in the afternoon. And then I decided, I'm going to go down and see the boys off. It's not that late. I had nothing to do. The Steelers game was kind of boring.
That was really cool, Rich.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Dude, and I was right behind Sammy Levin. So, yeah, I didn't even recognize him. He looked like a bum like us, just holding his camera up through the fence, and then he bailed later. And I heard him talk, and it didn't sound like him. And then finally, when he was talking directly to me, I could hear that twang in his voice, So, but yeah, Manny, cool seeing Manny, and then Will did his little lap, and then Musgrove's tossing out hats and stuff. And then he tossed out cleats further down the line. I wish I would have been down the line a little more, get in on that. But
tossed out cleats.
Yeah, he had his cleats out there, big white cleats, and he signed them and tossed them out. So yeah,
doesn't need them anymore.
Yeah. So yeah, now next week San Diego Christian, and then a week later we go Aztecs. So
let's go, man. 2 weeks from tonight.
Team. Yeah, we'll see. Well, I'll be there for the exposition. The San Diego
I will too next Tuesday. Thank you, Rich. Hey, real quick, Jim. I want to thank Carlos for the super over on YouTube. We appreciate the support over on YouTube. The super chat from Carlos. He says, after seeing our fans receive the Padres players, it made me feel proud to be from San Diego. We may have lost the series, but the city is grateful. And for once, I have hope that this can be sustainable. That's an interesting point. Thank you, Carlos, for the super chat. Sustainability is a great point. I mean, the Padres have been in the postseason 2 of the last 3 years. We know 2020 was weird because of the pandemic, but there's no reason to think Soto back, Tatis hopefully back, Machado, Snell, Darvish, Musgrove. There's no reason to think they're not a postseason caliber team. No reason at all to think that. But like we've been talking about, you got to navigate maybe a wild card round, unless all of a sudden you're better than the Dodgers. You got to then win a divisional series. And then you got to get into a championship series just to get back to this point 1 year from now.
Right. And you're going to have to worry about the depth of this team for a regular season. Like, they have the stars. They have the star power. Tatis, Soto, Manny, Hader, Darvish, Snell, Musgrove, right? You got the star power. But that, in a regular season, you're going to need a lot of depth. And you're going to need the 4th and 5th starters, and you're going to need a good bullpen, and you're going to need the bench pieces, and you're going to have to navigate injuries, and you're going to have to make sure that, guys have career years to get to this point again. And like, it's a lot. There's going to be a lot that Pirello's going to have to do this offseason for this team, because there's going to be a lot of changes, like Josh Bell, Brandon Drury, Will Myers, Nick Martinez, Robert Suarez. All those guys aren't guaranteed to come back next year. All right. And those guys played huge parts in this season, whether it be good or bad. Oh, by the way, Jerkson Profar, another player for you. So there's a lot of pieces on this team right now that you don't know if they're going to be back next year, that were big parts into why they made the NLCS this season.
No doubt. You're 100% right. That's like every team every year. There's a lot of changes. It's going to look different. the dynamic is going to play out differently. I'm sure the Dodgers will look a lot different in 2023 based on what happened in 2022. And they won 111 games. Real quick, I want to get back to you two for a second. Jesus, our buddy GSUS. Jesus, thank you for the super. He says, great show, guys. An amazing season. 2023 will be fire. 2023, just the idea of Tatis, Soto, Machado, 1, 2, 3. I don't know if that's what they do or not, but just the idea of Tatis, Soto, Machado, 1, 2, 3 has a little bit of a Phillies/Dodgers feel to it. You know, those three batters, maybe as good as you're going to find in order, in succession in baseball.
Even with all the bats that the Phillies had, it still took them to like the final day of the season to make the postseason. So it was a grind for that team to make.
They fired their manager.
Yeah, so this ain't a cakewalk. Like
but the Phillies pitching wasn't the Padres pitching either.
No, but obviously the Padres hitting wasn't the Phillies hitting.
Not in the postseason.
Not in the postseason, and you saw what happens in the postseason. Like, you know, this whole notion, you rather be hot than obviously be the best team in the regular season is proved point in the National League. The hotter team made the World Series.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, Jared, time to go off, buddy.
How's it going, guys?
Jared, how you doing, man?
What's up?
I'm after yesterday when I felt like, you know, like my life was ending. I'm all right today because
good.
I mean, there was a point this season where I thought we won't even make the playoffs with how they were playing. And to see them come together, and you know, it took Soto a while before he started going, but like the team finally started gelling, and it's like most of these guys are going to be back next season. And with the guys leaving, you know, Myers, Bell, Manaea, Clevenger, you know, a lot of these guys, a lot of big money guys are going to be gone. We could bring in people that we need and can use, and then our core is going to be so strong for next season. Like, I am so excited for next season. You have no idea.
Mm-hmm. No, you're right. They have a great core. Like the core of this team, when you say it's Musgrove, Manny, Tatis, Soto, Darvish, Hader, like if that's your core at Cronenworth, like fucking damn good core.
Snell, Musgrove.
Well, the one thing that I think we really need to do first and foremost is re-sign Suarez. We need to re-sign Suarez.
He's going to ask for a lot of money.
He's going to be expensive, though.
Yeah, and unfortunately, you've already overpaid one reliever that done shit for you in Drew Pomeranz. So, he's going to cost probably the same as Pomeranz did. Thanks, Jared. Appreciate it, man.
Thanks, man. Yeah, Suarez would be nice, man. I don't want to see Suarez pitching for like the San Francisco Giants or LA Dodgers.
But also, too, I think
he's going to be coveted.
Yeah, he will. It's too early for me to even just like to go like the free agent route.
Not
yesterday and Friday, yesterday and Saturday is still. I know not you, but yesterday and Saturday is just still so fresh, man.
I want to talk Kodai Senga, the pitcher from Japan. He's my Seiya Suzuki of this offseason. I already want to talk Senga.
Here we go.
I already want to talk about if Profar is going to opt out. I want to talk about if Martinez is opting out. I want to talk about Robert Suarez. But you're right. We need. It's got to breathe. It's got to breathe. We don't need to talk about left-handed relievers yet. Where they should turn. You know, I mean, we got to let it breathe. We'll see what happens over the course of this week. I mean, the World Series doesn't even start until Friday because the series wrapped up so quickly. So there's time. I mean, the season's not going to end for 2 weeks because the World Series doesn't even start until Friday. And then we're going to get to the winter meetings. Free agency is going to start. We'll get to spring training underway, pitchers and catchers, and the WBC. And it'll be back. It'll be back.
Yeah. 111 days now until
I'm going, by the way, to Mexico City. So get yourself out there. We're doing shows from Mexico City. Be a man. Get Relationship Girl. We're flying to Mexico City. 2 games against the Giants, Saturday and Sunday, late April. Tatis is active. Figure it out.
Does our boss know this?
We could do shows from there. In theory, we'll do a show or two. It's a Saturday, Sunday. We'll do the wrap. I mean, it'll be beautiful.
Oh, Saturday, Sunday. Okay. Yeah.
It's a Saturday, Sunday, but I mean, we'd have to go like on a Friday and maybe come back on a Monday, but why not? You only live once.
Okay, cool. Let's go to Pedro before we wrap it up here.
What's up, Pedro?
Yeah,
What's up, man?
I got the family hooked up in Mexico City, so maybe we can do an Airbnb.
Let's go.
Love it. Perfect.
Love that.
But yeah,
Maybe
here
staying
it's
on
crazy.
your couch.
I hear people get robbed in the subways. It's crazy out there.
Oh, excited for that.
Oh, love that.
But I was gonna say, we might not know straight up the decisions that were made. The game went 4-5. Why did you keep Manan so long, or Clevenger, blah blah blah, or even the hater situation? Maybe kind of like I mentioned last night. Maybe if a little wrinkles in the coaching staff, well, maybe that will be the telltale signs, because they're not going to say, "Oh well, I messed up. I threw no one under the bus." Bomel's already kind of taking that pressure off the players, where he said Grisham talked to me about the bunt situation, so it might kind of come in subtle little movements where they'll say, "Hey, here's our new." I'm not sure if that coach is the analytics coach, the one that's the what's his name? The
Michael Berdar.
yeah,
he's their hitting coach.
The is that quality control analytics, or
I'm not sure.
It's crazy.
Good question. I mean, I will say this.
Thanks, Pedro.
Real quick, if Grisham is bunting with nobody out and first and second, completely get it.
Right.
Because now you're second and third one out. You're a sac fly or a ground ball away from a tie. Not that it's a guarantee, but with one out, no. You can never explain that to me. Before we get back to the queue, and we'll get to one more, I do want to thank JT Snod for the super on YouTube. He says we need more fastball hitters. We were one of the worst in the league at that. Bad recipe, especially for the playoffs, LFGSD. And I do agree with that. At times, I felt like they got overpowered a bit. Like Zach Wheeler was throwing 98, 99. He seemed untouchable other than the lead hitter like Juan Soto. And then Michael Yench, our longtime member and viewer and supporter. Michael, thank you for hanging out with us. He says we need a good first baseman. Right, the Bell, Drury, Myers dynamic. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out heading into 2023.
Yeah, they need a first baseman, that's for sure. All right, one final one here. We'll go to Carlos.
What's up, Carlos?
Hi,
What's up, Carlos?
Nice to meet you.
How you doing, man?
Yeah, it's nice to meet you, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Bummed out from yesterday.
Yeah, we are too, dude.
Yeah,
seriously.
Yeah, very bummed, yeah.
Yeah, well, first of all, I wanted to thank you guys for doing the show, because I think after every loss or every win, it's a good way to vent.
Yeah.
But I think that the best moment from the season, I think that obviously the Dodger win was a big one, but I also think the first game when Juan Soto and Brendan Drury, when they hit the grand slam, that was a big moment.
Yeah, we were there.
And I mean, I already put it in the chat, but I also think next year, I mean, I get it. Getting to the NLCS is super hard, but I do feel next year we're gonna have a better team, even though we have some areas of concern. I feel we should sign a Carlos Rodon or some starting pitcher to help us, solidify the rotation. Mm-hmm. What do you guys think?
Yeah, 4 starters is going to go a long way, because it's not going to be Clevenger or Minaya.
No.
Could it be Nick Martinez? I mean, could Nick Martinez move back into the rotation?
But he'd have to sign a good deal.
Stammen replacement. Just Trek Stammen's probably going to leave.
Stammen's probably retiring, honestly.
Yep.
Who knows if Suarez leaves? Will Nick Martinez opt in or out? There's a lot of questions there for sure. Mm-hmm. And thanks, Carlo. Yeah. Nice meeting you. Thanks, Carlos.
Yeah, great to meet you. They need a 4th starter, and we'll talk about it over the course of the coming days and weeks.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to be back on Weight Room and YouTube on Friday morning at 11:30 a.m. If you're on YouTube, make sure to subscribe. We have year-round Padres content for you, year-round. So make sure to subscribe. We'll be with you all off-season long. Join us today on the radio as well, 3 to 6. Annie Halbrin will be on the show at 5 o'clock. She was the Padres' good luck charm in the postseason, but it kind of ran out. Scott Braun, MLB Network, will join us as well at 4:30. So Scott Braun from the MLB Network will join us at 4:30 to recap the National League Championship Series. Annie Halbrin on the show at 5 p.m. We are all Padres all day today, 3 to 6. San Diego Sports 760. Thank you for hanging out on Weight Room and YouTube. For Jim, I'm John. Off-season is here. We'll catch up with you later today on San Diego Sports 760, later this week on Weight Room and YouTube. Thanks, guys.
Peace out. Bye.